boys.
Oh, boy.
Here we
Hello.
go.
Here we go.
Buckle in. Because more people have signed up to give us money, which is the best thing that any human being can do.
Yes, that's so amazing.
It's the American way.
And look what those dollars are doing.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, Satan. We're bringing Satan to Utah.
Satan!
Based in part on the generous giving of folks
That's right.
from around the world and some people that we need to thank. So I am going to start to do just that. Thanks to Right Reverend Jim Bob Hammer, BS Theology. Emphasis on the BS, I guess.
He tweeted us a picture of his How to Heretic mug, his merch.
Oh.
Well done, Reverend Bob.
Look
Jim
at us
Bob.
go.
Sonia is Sonia. Well, you, Sonia, get a saint, and that will be improvised for you as we speak right now by Uncle Doug.
Okay, Sonia. It's an Eastern European sounding name. So your patron saint is Saint Boris the Wise
Yeah.
of the Belarusian archipelago.
Belarusian archipelago. Is there one?
Well, there is now.
There was when Boris was alive.
Saint Boris is the patron saint of vodka that is distilled from both potatoes and beets. He is the patron saint of mystery theater dinners that end up in actual fatalities. And the luge.
Great.
And the luge. Yes, excellent.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
We also owe a saint to Craven, who is
Or is it
coming in.
Craven? Is it Craven with two? I don't know. Craven.
How dare you question my
How
pronunciation?
dare you.
And just for that, you have to give Craven a saint. Uncle
Well, you
Mark.
get used to that. So, Craven. Your saint is, of course, Saint Pelicano of Fishguard, and which is a beautiful port town in northern Wales. Who is the patron saint of Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio? Just because I love saying that name. Control Top Hosiery, and any rye breads with seeds.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
That'll serve you well, Craven. I have to do a saint now for Jake. Sorry you got the bad uncle, Jake, but your saint is Saint Rocky of Bullwinkle, who is the patron saint of push broom mustaches, of large sea vessels with overlong flags attached, and the patron saint of friendly rodents.
How about that?
No matter what the size.
No matter what the size, it doesn't matter. They're friendly. So that's great for you, Jake. And
Yeah, for sure.
Also, we need to give Elsa a girlfriend. I hope she gets one.
I'd suggest going down to BYU.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. We're about to
uh,
cover that. It's going to be great.
And we owe a saint, actually, to Jason. So, Uncle Doug, why don't you throw another one out for Jason?
Oh, my God. My well runneth dry. Okay. Your saint is Jason, right?
Yeah.
All right. Another generic white guy name. Your saint is Saint Chad of Tristan da Cunha, the remote island. It's the patron saint of lost albatrosses, short chairs at tall tables,
Okay.
and hard to reach blisters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll pray to that saint, Jason, for that.
Yeah.
And we are not done yet.
Oh, my God.
Jesus, Lord in heaven.
Gird your loins, Uncle Mark, because you need to present a heaven to Jesse.
Jesse, this is a special day for any Jesse of any stripe, and I think you'll agree by the end of of this introduction to your great hereafter. So, Jesse, you know how when you were 12 and got that new Sony Discman for your birthday, along with those killer fresh Reeboks, you felt like hot shit, and why wouldn't you? You were hot shit, still are, if I'm being totally candid here, and best of all, you got the most prized CD of that super hot summer, Right Said Fred's smash debut album, Up, featuring the toe-tapping, booty-shaking single, I'm Too Sexy. Remember, you nearly wore that track out as you shook your acid-washed ass up and down the aisles of Blockbuster Video, Circuit City, and insert name of local water park here that magical summer. And you may not remember it now, but think back a bit. Do you remember the evening of August 3rd, 1991? It was a beautiful, sultry summer Saturday. You climbed up on the roof of the garage to listen to your favorite track of all time, Right Said Fred's I'm Too Sexy, and watch the sunset over insert name of local geographical feature here. Do you remember that moment? Well, I do. In that moment, you dreamt you could hang out with the guys from Right Said Fred, brothers Fred and Richard Fairbrass, and ask them how they came up with that masterwork. You wanted to know everything you could about the process, the genius, the minds that could manifest such a catchy, danceable, sexy, sorry, you were 12, sexy phenomenon into the world. Well, Jesse, the fates and I heard you. Cinderella tried to warn you that a dream is a wish your heart makes. And as any Mormon bishop will tell you, Jesse, one's eternal destination is determined by just this sort of pre-adolescent moment of careless desire. And because this wish your heart made is the one it made most sincerely over the course of your mortal probation, your heaven, dear Jesse, is called What Right Said Fred Said, an eternal conversation with Jesse and Fred and Richard Fairbrass of Right Said Fred, the band. It's a long name, but it's also a long, long time. You'll find, after this life of pain is over, this veil of tears you pass through, you'll find your perfected, once again 12-year-old self sitting on a Persian rug in the Fairbrass Brothers' Dope London studio, across from the legends of your youth. A sweet Moroccan-style repast spread before you on brass plates and goblets full of nectar. So rock and roll. And the guys are there just for you. Got questions, kid? Ask away. Okay. Whose idea was it in the first place? Why did you guys decide to rip the shirt off like that? Whose cool convertible was that? Do you have a whole day to shoot the video, or was it just over an hour? Was that a real catwalk in the video, or did you make that yourself? What does poor pussy cat mean? Do you guys have cats for real? Ever charming and indulgent, Fred and Richard smile and laugh good-naturedly, very much their brand, and answer your every question in detail. Delirious with excitement, your 12-year-old self continues. You guys say you wrote this as a send-up of the male models who worked out in the London gym you owned. So, is this a satirical take on the various modes of posturing masculinity in a postmodern context, or more of a semi-comedic indictment of the modalities of late-stage consumer capitalism that cause men specifically in this case to modify their very bodies in order to engender a typically unattainable standard for commercial purposes? And follow-up question, does this derive from a Kantian sort of ethos about the intention of action versus outcome? Also, given the general zeitgeist of British culture at large in the early 1990s, what is the cultural significance of using the Yiddish word tush as a sexual signifier, given the rather liberal stance of John Major's conservative majority to the Israeli question? Richard and Fred are only too happy to help deconstruct their greatest hit with you over mint tea and roasted figs. Even when you drill down into the menagerie of possible subconscious Freudian symbolism in the robust leitmotif of the self-stated sexiness of the protagonist of the narrative, and even when you challenge their construction of what Joseph Campbell would surely call the hero's journey of the model from shirt to shirtless, from catwalk to indifference at a party, from pet owner to existentialist, Hamlet-style poseur in a post-industrial world, he is only beginning to realize he barely understands. And this is just day one of your endless, eternal journey, together with Richard and Fred Fairbrass, forever and ever and ever. May the conversation continue to sparkle and fulfill that earnest dream you made atop the garage so long ago, Jesse, in this funky, heavily drum-sampled heaven from which there is no respite and no reprieve. Enjoy.
Oh, Jesse, I wish you had liked a different song.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for, kids.
You're too sexy for this heaven. Too sexy for this heaven.
You know, I was listening. It's actually a really fun song. Sorry, I was just listening to it to do this. It's pretty great.
I'll bet you were.
I'll bet you were. All right. I hope we're all happy about all of that. And with that being said, hey, if you want to be a part of this, if you want to be in on the action, if you want to hear the super secret side recordings that we do
Patron-only content.
just for our patrons.
Backstage pass.
The best
The
thing
Right
to do.
Said Fred after party.
That's right. You can go to howtoheretic.com, click on the Patreon, the link that gets you to Patreon. You sign up. It's super easy. You decide how much you want to give us, and then you get all the perks and the props, and we get all the money. So that's a great thing. Otherwise, please feel free to give us 5 stars on anything that you want to.
5 or die, bitches.
Yep.
And let's move on.
Let's move on.